I believe that it's important to understand the mechanics of the submissions we apply, and also it doesn't hurt to know their names. In my case, I like to know the Japanese names of submissions and other techniques that we apply. Let's talk about submissions on the arm. Okay, as I'm drawing here, I think about the arm. Let me see if I can draw a body, and then shoulder and arm, elbow. Yeah, just like a basic drawing. Depending on how we apply our submission, what part of the body is being attacked, the submission can have one name or the other. Common name is the armbar. The armbar, if you have the arm, it's the elbow, biceps. The armbar will be stretching the arm, overextending this part here of the elbow, okay? This is an armbar. But there are many ways we can connect to this arm. There are many ways we can stretch this arm. And it's good for us to understand what's the difference between one thing or the other. We have shoulder. Let me get this triangle here as a shoulder. This is a joint. Then you have elbow. This is another joint, okay? Imagine that this is an arm. Now, when you think about what to attack and how to call it, I like to use Japanese name. You have udegarami in Japanese, which would be attacking the shoulder. And you attack the shoulder, you submit the person by using rotation. Or could be extension as well. Extension and rotation. Okay? To either side. Any submission attacking this part of the body is a udgarami. Then we have the elbow. The elbow have two names. One is jujigatame, and the other one is udegatame. Now, what's the difference between a jujigatame and a udegatame? The basic difference is the relationship between bodies. Let's say this is a person here with a shoulder and an extended arm. For jujigatame to be true, the relationship between both bodies and the other person's body is perpendicular. So the other person's body would be here. Let me make the head with the legs passing over. The upper body, if you can imagine this. So this is what we would understand. I understand it as a jujigatame. Okay? It's perpendicular. So if it's perpendicular, the fulcrum, the point of leverage, are the hips. In this case, I said this is a body, these are the hips, so legs. For me to apply a Jujigatame, I'm using my hips as point of leverage. Okay, to apply this overextension. However, when you are applying a Udegatame, you're going to be using your upper body. Again, this is shoulder, trapezium. This guy is the big trapezium. These are the shoulders. So I'm going to be using my upper body as a point of leverage, as a fulcrum. And also my hands. So the relationship is different. If I have two people parallel, okay, to each other, and this person, let me just get them a little bit closer here, and this person B, this person A, and A is attacking B, the arm is extended over the shoulder. This is the point where we want to apply the over extension. Now I'm going to use the hands to press this down. So this is the difference between Ude and Juji. And then I create an overextension to the arm right here. See? So this is the basic difference between either of these two submissions, Udegatame and Jujigatame. Now, Udegatame, and get this person here, shoulder, then we want to apply pressure to the joint. So the Udegatame, one way of applying is rotation, in this case upwards, or rotation downwards. This is one way. But we can also combine rotation with extension. Okay. Arm up, it's the joint, and by moving this, imagine that this is the elbow, okay? By moving this arm towards the head, we can create an overextension, okay, and a compression of this area, the head, and the compression of this area here. There's compression, there's extension there. And of course, as I said, you can also use rotation of the elbow as well. Why is this important? Because understanding this principle that the arm have a humerus, there's this bone here, humerus, the biceps, triceps, then you have the elbow, oh, you get the elbow here, okay, you have two bones there, this is an arm, okay, and we understand that the arm moves flex, the elbow joint, flex or extends. And we want to submit by overextending the elbow. This is our gatame, this is our extension, okay? This is our armbar. Then this is what I want to do to the elbow, moving to the opposite way it normally is move, extend, not flexing. Now, to do so, I can use either the upper part of my body, my upper body, to create the point of leverage, fulcrum. It can be shoulder and arm, okay, supporting this elbow, or it can be also my hips. In the case where we do our traditional armbar from the close guard, from mount. For the attack to the shoulder, if you have an arm bar, you have a shoulder bar. Let's call it a shoulder bar. Okay, these are biceps. Let's get this elbow here. I can apply the rotation. I think about only rotation of this joint, this connection. So we have different things connecting here. This is the húmero. These are two bones. Oops, sorry. These are two bones. This is the lock of the elbow. And this one bone. And okay, there are two bones here, the thorax. Anyways, we want to apply rotation. So the rotation can be applied with the upper body. Our upper body. That's what we would call Kimura Americana. Or you can also, and yes, and the relationship here is parallel between bodies, no? It's a parallel relationship. Or if I'm upside down, that's interesting as well. If I'm myself upside down, I can use my legs. These proportions are not correct, but let me try to improve this. Get a better proportion. Then I can use, we are still parallel in this case, and I can use my hips, the lower part of my body, my hips and the legs, to apply the torque. Okay. This is an omoplata. So from there we got to an omoplata, we got to Americana, a Kimura, an armbar, straight armbar, and also what they call the choi bar, which is a variation of udegatame. It is attacking this arm here. Make this the shoulder, but by inverting towards the leg. In this case, we bring by inverting towards the leg. Towards the head, we would end up with a Jujigatame upside down. If you reverse towards the leg, you will end up with a Udegatame, what people call it a choi bar. Let's say this. This is a normal armbar, straight armbar, almost with a little bit of rotation, but the person in blue follows. And this is an armbar. Okay. Here we have something interesting which looks like Udegarame, but is Udegatame because of something very subtle that happens here. From the close guard, we start with, look, it's a straight armbar. A straight armbar is udegatame. Okay, so jiu-jitsu, judo, straight armbar. But then the elbow is bent and white changes the connection and it starts looking like Kimura, but the connection is still very close to the elbow. And there is torque now. When blue postures, there is torque, there's overextension on the elbow. Look. So the main pressure is to the elbow, so it's an armbar. Is what? What do you guys think? Where's the pressure going? Okay. Over rotation is going to the shoulder. Udigarame. When we go to pressure the shoulder, follow, but when you lose the flexion of the elbow, you can convert this to a udigatame. Okay, you can start attacking the shoulder. I think here there was lots of pressure to the shoulder. Over rotation to the shoulder, off the shoulder, and then there's a transition, and then the pressure goes to overextension to the elbow. Collar, sleeve, inversion towards the head, the leg, sorry, blue inverts towards the leg, goes upside down, and connects to a jujigatame. Okay. What happens here is that Ronaldo Souza, he looks at the time, and then as Ronaldo Souza looks away, Roger Gracie attacks the arm. Roger Gracie is climbing, and now look. So, beautiful submission from side control from Zaikomi. Now he's pinning the person, starts attacking the further arm. I can't see, is Udagarami, and then he's going to transition to new belly. Is Udagarami and transition to number. So back attack, transitioning to the arm. Setting up the armbar. Trying to separate the legs. And so the arm is trapped. You have to separate this arm to overextend. And he transitions to a sankaku, a triangle.